Episode 66. Welcome back to the Missoula podcast. Stoked to be in the studio. Brandon, how are you, man?
Doing well. I'm doing really well. I think I'm always doing well. Every time you ask me that question, I say I'm doing well. No, on a little bit more serious note, just thinking this last few weeks, I am good. Anything I could complain about is purely a first world problem.
Okay. Go ahead. Get
We're
your
good.
grapes out.
No, we're good. We're healthy. Family's good. Excited for next summer to get here. Feels like it's getting colder. The mornings are colder. The nights are getting darker. I'm good.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good, man. I love being in the studio, and I'm sure our guests can probably tell from the guests that we have on, our audience can tell that we like sports. We like interviewing people that like sports, and we love athletes. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's certainly the case with our guest today. So welcome in, Josh.
Hey, thanks a lot for
Josh
having me.
Meader. Josh, you are probably the most, I'm in like sports terminology here. You're probably the most explosive individual I know. Your quickness, that first step, the jump.
Man.
Has that always been a thing for you, or is that something you've had to work on?
No, definitely had to work on it. I've loved sports my whole life, and football and baseball are my main things. And it's kind of funny. I never got to do track, but I wish I would have. And my wife, Riley, wants our kids to do track for that reason, for the speed, the explosiveness and stuff like that. And I never got to do that. I just played baseball. So I loved baseball, but I was never very fast. I'd catch the football. I was a tight end, being 5'10", 5'11", so I could catch, but I wasn't getting anywhere fast. But that being said, it is something that I had to work on a lot, and I just love to work out. So
Where'd that desire for sports start?
I started, I guess wrestling was probably my first sport, and I started when I was 5, and t-ball, soccer, all the sports you kind of grow up playing. And I just loved it. It was just one of those things where, I'm just really competitive as it is. So it's just a really good outlet to just be competitive, to use your body. And weightlifting and gym class just kind of fell hand in hand with sports. So I was like, man, it's always my favorite subject in school. Can't wait to get to gym and weightlifting class. So
you're like the jock. You are, if there was like a picture of what a jock looks like, it would be you. You just loved it.
I love sports. Yep. And gym for sure. I don't necessarily think I was super popular growing up, but I love sports. That's for darn sure. So,
well, take us back. Where did you grow up? What did your parents do? And what did childhood look like for you other than soccer and t-ball?
Yeah. I grew up in Lewistown, Montana. I was originally from California, but moved to Lewistown when I was 1. So didn't live there for very long, but I had a phenomenal childhood. I had a lot of fun. My parents always gave us a good time. Me and my younger sister, we rode motorcycles. We lived on the fairgrounds for like half my childhood. My dad was actually the manager of the fairgrounds in Lewistown, and then here again in Missoula. So every time the fair came to town, we always got like a free pass to go on all the rides, all the events. So my childhood was definitely a lot of fun in that regard. So yeah, my parents have always been super supportive. My mom stayed at home, worked a little bit in the hospital. But other than that, yeah, no, just very blessed to grow up in the home that I did.
Is that what brought you to Missoula? Was your dad going to work for West Montana Fair?
Yep, exactly. And then we moved here, I guess, right as I was going into first grade is when we moved in here into Missoula. So
where'd you go to elementary school?
I went to Lewis and Clark Elementary School, and we lived there for a few years, and then we ended up at Targa Range, and I went there from 5th grade through 8th grade. So, yeah.
What was life like in the Meader household? Were your parents strict? Were they pretty easygoing? What were some of the lessons that your folks imparted to you?
Yeah, I'd say my parents were definitely pretty easygoing. They weren't super strict by any means. They definitely had expectations, clean up your room, pick up after yourself like any parent does. But I think for the most part, they've always been just super supportive, right? And I've always had a voice in, kind of what I wanted to do and stuff like that. So My parents have always been very supportive in that regard. So yeah, I guess compared to what I've experienced later in life, they were pretty laid back, pretty chill. So yeah, no, they've always been very supportive.
So what was the plan growing up? Like, what did Josh want to be when he grew up? Just something involved in sports, or did you have any master plans other than that?
Yep. No master plan other than wanted to be a professional athlete through and through. Definitely loved football. I wanted to play in the NFL. I'd go out in the yard, throw the football up to myself, dive, catch, do everything, play pretend with the football along with the sticks and the, stuff like that. But
Did you play Little Grizz football, MYF? What was it back
yep,
when you
yep,
played?
it was Little Grizz.
Little Grizz.
And yeah, I had some phenomenal coaches. And I remember playing against Regime. He was never my coach, but I remember playing against him. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed Little Grizz football back in the day. And I didn't start. I think they started in 5th grade for tackle, and I started in 6th. My mom was like, "No, you're going to wait a year." But I had a blast with it. It was a lot of fun.
Who's your NFL team?
I don't know if I can say that. The Broncos, unfortunately. But the 2014, 15, those are some good years. And it was an exciting time to be a Broncos fan when Tim Tebow was playing because they were on Sports Center every night. So I got to hear about them almost every night. So that was cool. But yeah, it's been a rough go for the past few years.
Did you have any opportunities to go play college in baseball or football after high school?
Yeah. Baseball, I had the opportunity to go play it at Miles Community College. So it was one of those where, junior, senior year, you try and go to camps and stuff like that. But I don't think I was ever quite, super stand out as far as having like a super good arm or speed or anything like that.
What position were you playing?
I played outfield for the Mavs and did some pitching. So yeah, I mean, at the Legion level in Montana, I think you can get away with not having a super good arm or, stuff like that. And so, we did pretty well my high school career with the Mavs, but I think to be able to really play at that next level, especially Division II, Division I, just takes a certain skill set, and I didn't quite have, arm
What
for
is
that.
the difference between somebody who has that skill set and doesn't? Is it just natural talent you're born with? Is it something you can work towards? Like, 'cause some guys can just throw the ball, and then there's guys that just, we say, don't have the arm strength. But what is the difference?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's definitely some natural ability, just having a really strong arm or being fast. So there's definitely a genetic component to it for sure, which is tough to compete with because I was never, super athletic when I was younger. I think I had pretty good coordination, but yeah, it's genetic component and then just a crazy hard work ethic too. I mean, that's when the magic happens, is when you do have those genetics and you know what you want and you're willing to work for it every single day. So yeah, I was lucky to play with some really good ball players with the Mavs, with Ben Roberts and Riley King and, Slade Hagan, Shane Olson. So there's definitely some good players I got to play with.
So then you went to Miles City,
Yep.
played baseball there. What'd you go to school for?
Just took the generals. I really just went to
you were there to play baseball.
That was it. And the problem was, getting there as a freshman, you go there to play baseball, but you get caught up in all the extracurricular activities. And it was fun. It was nice to be out on my own, but it was just one of those things where you kind of just grow up and you get whatever you want all the time. And it kind of carried over into college. Like, hey, mom, I need some money here. I need some money there. And I was definitely pretty spoiled even going into college. And unfortunately, kind of abused that a little bit, right? Got involved with a lot of stuff that I shouldn't be doing. And not really taking it serious, which I think was a common theme with a lot of the freshmen on our team. It was only a 2-year school, a junior college. So you could tell that all the sophomores were pretty dialed in. They'd gone through that freshman year, got all that out of their system, and they were focused on that upcoming baseball season. But unfortunately, me coming as a freshman with the rest of the guys, wasn't very focused on baseball, unfortunately. So it was,
Did you go back for a second year?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. That's when it got exciting. I guess it'd be a good time to talk about Riley and I. Riley and I went to the same high school, Big Sky. We met at Big Sky.
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles. That's right. And we had been dating for a couple years in high school, and we decided to do long distance over in Miles City. So me just kind of being a punk and being selfish and doing stuff I shouldn't be doing, put Riley and I's relationship kind of in jeopardy. And she was actually on her way, I believe, to Bozeman to meet with me in Bozeman. And unbeknownst to me, she was planning on cutting off the relationship there. So we met up halfway in Bozeman, and she didn't end up breaking up with me, but we hung out and, went back our separate ways. And then we find out a couple months later that she was pregnant. And this was her senior year of high school, my freshman year of college. And that was not planned. So it was definitely very, very tough as a 19, 20-year-old to hear that you're going to
changes things. Yeah,
definitely. So to answer your question, no, I didn't go back. As soon as I found out that I was going to be a dad, it was pretty much just finish school and then come back to Missoula to work. So I always say Riley was the best thing to happen to me. And then Keenan, our firstborn, he was definitely the second best thing to happen to me, because that immediately put things into perspective and kind of straightened things out, going from completely self-centered, what can I get? It's all about me, to shifting the lens and saying, you know what, it's not all about me. And there's someone else that's coming in this world that I'm kind of responsible for. Right. So that totally took my life on a completely different path. And I'm very grateful for that, for sure.
I'm glad to hear that obviously when we look back at it, you're like, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. But in that moment, when you find out the news that you're going to be a dad at 19, walk us through some of those emotions that you had.
Yeah, it was definitely very shocking, especially for Riley. I'll never forget that phone call. Very emotional. I just couldn't believe it. She grew up in a very, pretty strict household, Christian. She had her life on a path, and being pregnant in high school definitely is complete opposite direction of where she was planning on going and taking her life. So it was definitely very shocking in the moment. And then everything that goes with just being, just being a high school parent, being pregnant in high school, a lot of judgment and, trying to hide from everybody. So it was a lot of turmoil, right, in the moment. Couldn't comprehend what was going on, right? Something in the moment to where you're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So
how did that experience bring you guys closer together? I mean, what was the 9 months of pregnancy and then the next couple of years? What did that look like for you guys?
Yep. So as soon as I got back to Missoula, we basically just decided to move in together before getting married. We had been together for about 3 or 4 years, or 3 years coming out of high school. So moving in together was definitely not something that Riley's family agreed with at the moment. Being not married and then living in the same house and expecting a child. So that was definitely really tough, but it's just one of those where, just kind of make it happen. Right. I go to work every day. She's at the house, preparing to have a baby. And at that time I was working at Costco. So that shout out to Costco, super great job.
Love Costco.
Yeah. Good benefits, great company to work for. So that was basically the next few years, was just working at Costco, just, having Keenan, providing for him and Riley. And then Yeah, I was at Costco until 3/25/18. Remember the date. That's the day that I left Costco. We just decided to end it with just uh, Riley and I had some things going on, and Costco just wasn't really the best fit for what we had going. So we decided to break it off with Costco. And at that moment, it was, I don't necessarily want to say like sink or swim, but it was like, and now you don't have a job, right? What are you going to do? Like you had this really high, good paying job, right? You've been working there for 4 years. You're getting, good benefits. You're getting, raises every, 6 months or so. So at that point, I was like, man, what are we going to do here? And during that time, Riley and I had kind of started Rising Lion Fitness. And that's when we got into more like personal training. And we started out just getting certified. And then kind of in the background while I was working at Costco, it was try and train people at the Y. Just go take them there and then just do like one-on-one sessions and stuff like that. So that's kind of how we started to build up our brand, was just on social media, is just our kind of fitness journey. And that's when the original 8-week challenge started. It was early on when we did a transformation ourselves and we're like, oh, this is awesome. We can help other people do this too. So that was kind of going on in the background. And then as soon as I left Costco, I was like, well, let's try and make this more of the focal point. And I wish I could say that it took off right then and there, but it did not. It was one of those kind of by the grace of God, COVID hit and we got stimulus money. So that helped out a lot for our situation, leaving our job.
Josh, I want to hit pause right there on your story. Go to our rapid fire questions and then come back and talk about Rising Lion Fitness and what you guys are doing and how that all came to be. So first question, coming into Missoula as a first grader, what was your first initial memory of Missoula?
Yeah, definitely driving in and seeing the big mountains coming from Lewistown where it was really flat. Man, driving through that valley, coming from Bonner in, dude, I'll never forget driving in through those mountains. And then just our house, living up on the hill, underneath kind of Mansion Heights up on the hill there. That was pretty cool. Going from living on flat ground and now living on the side of a mountain. It was like, oh, this is pretty neat. So
what's your favorite coffee shop in Missoula?
Don't drink coffee. Don't drink coffee. So I couldn't tell you.
What's your wife's favorite coffee shop?
No coffee. And that's the reason why I don't drink coffee. She was working in the dentist's office for a while. And she said, you know what? All these coffee drinkers, their teeth happen to be stained after 20 or 30 years. So she's like, you know what? You're not going to be drinking coffee. So I was like, all right.
She dropped the hammer on you.
Yep. No coffee.
Favorite restaurant?
We really enjoy the Tamarack big time. Love their pizza, their wings. And just recently, the Trough has been really getting to me. That burger they have there, the barbecue one, man, that's
I forget about the Trough just because it's kind of like on the outskirts, but
it's in the middle of nowhere.
We need to hit it up the Trough.
Yep. What zip code do you live in?
59803.
I just drew a blank. I know these questions. Oh, got it. Josh, what to you is the weirdest part of Missoula?
Yeah, I heard that. I've heard this question on your podcast a few times, and I've been thinking about it, and it's just has to be the people. Definitely. It's a popular answer, but the people are, you see all walks of life here, which is cool. It's just, sometimes gets a little strange. My number 2 answer would be probably the bumper stickers. We got some pretty interesting bumper stickers here that I see. So,
which I think there's a correlation between the bumper stickers and the people.
I think so.
Yeah. What do you love the most about Missoula?
I love the mountains for sure. The mountains and the outdoors. I mean, summer here is phenomenal. Love being outside. Riley would tell you she loves the sun and being outside and tanning. So definitely the outdoors here. I'm not so much into the hunting and fishing, but just being outside and being able to go fall fishing or going to the river. It's just awesome here. So,
has there been a specific book that has made a profound impact on your life? Yeah,
quite a few. Really early on was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, just all the typical ones that you'd go through as an entrepreneur, I think. So that one, and then the 4-hour work week also, just really eye opening as far as the difference between an employee and a business owner, an investor. So those ones early on really eye opening. But yeah, there's just countless books now, and podcasts really is what I've been diving into more so. But yeah, the other one you might think about consider reading is Wild at Heart. It's a good Christian book that I've found a lot of value in lately. So,
Rising Lion Fitness. Where's the name come from?
yeah. So the first part, rising. I think that we can all get better, right? Life is about progress and continually growing. I think there's a quote that says, if you're not growing, you're dying. So I think adding that in there just to say, hey, we can all be getting better. We can all be striving for more. And there's not necessarily a mountaintop, but it's about climbing that mountain and trying to get there. And then the lion was something that took a little bit. And I think there's two parts to that. The first part actually came from a movie, and the movie was called Lion. And if you haven't seen it already, you might check it out. It's on, I think you can find it on Netflix, but it's called Lion. And I believe it's a movie based out of India or the Middle East. And there's these two brothers that got separated from their family. I won't tell you the whole movie, but it's just an insane story, just about, being able to overcome, being resilient. And it's based on a true story. It's worth checking out. But yeah, and just the characteristics of a lion is something that we want to promote, especially in young people, being courageous, being a leader, right? Being brave. All those characteristics is something that we want to instill in this next generation. So it's pretty cool. It started out as personal training and something that we kind of want to be known for, Riley and I ourselves, but more so in the past year has kind of morphed into just the youth in our Missoula, in Missoula here. And our outlet has just been basketball.
Looking back over your development, both as a business owner, your professional career, your personal career, and coming out of, playing sports through high school, college, and then walking through a teen pregnancy, having a baby, who are some of the people that have been the greatest mentors or have had significant impact on your life and really helping you get to where you are today?
Yep, definitely Riley's father, Britt Fred, has had a huge impact on my life. Just obviously being my father-in-law, he's just been there. He's been family. And
Tell me about that first conversation with him when you find out his daughter's pregnant. That had to be hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Even before then, it was just a rocky road. I mean, in high school, I was just a pure punk, I wasn't someone that I'd want my daughter to be with necessarily. So I could totally understand where Riley's family is coming from. So it was tough in the beginning, and it was definitely a lot of hard conversations about just growing up and just opening my eyes to, hey, it's not about you anymore. You have a family to provide for. You have a girlfriend, soon to be wife, to provide for. So it's definitely something that's been a couple years in the making, and just had a lot to do with me just growing up, being more mature, walking into a relationship with the Lord, being saved has also just opened up my eyes and helped me be a better man, better husband, better father. And it's just been a continual journey as well, which is pretty exciting. It's like, we all have the ability to be better and to do more, right? And it's just a choice every single day what we're going to do to improve. So yeah, our relationship, it was a little rocky, but it's improved since then. So Britt has definitely had a big influence on my life. And pastors, Dr. Miles Monroe, I was a pastor out of the Bahamas that I was just glued to, would listen to him almost every day. And it was something I was thinking about coming in here, is if anyone feels lost or down, and out. Something that really helped me in college was just starting to listen to just motivational videos. As cheesy as that sounds, it's just something that will totally shift your mindset, right? Instead of, being the victim, right? Or thinking, woe is me, life is so hard. Start taking in something that's going to uplift you and help you focus on a brighter future. So that's something that helped me a lot. Motivational videos and Dr. Miles Monroe, for sure.
We touched on it a little earlier, but take us back to that decision to finally make the jump out of Costco into your own thing. That had to be terrifying. But what happened to get you to the end of like, I got to do this?
Yeah. A lot of it just stemmed out of Riley and I's relationship. She's just a phenomenal woman, and she's a godly woman. And at that time in my life, I wasn't necessarily a godly man, and was struggling with a lot of things, as far as just lust and self-pleasing behaviors. So we decided that Costco just wasn't the best environment for me to be in, just with the battles that I was struggling with. So that had a lot to do with leaving Costco, which was definitely tough. I mean, you leave a job where you have steady income and stability, and then you're jumping out into the unknown, which is both terrifying and exciting at the same time. So that's where I just feel extremely lucky, and God's kind of just been with me the whole time, right? If might not necessarily have been with him, but he's been with me the whole time, and has opened up just opportunities I never thought would be possible. So very lucky.
And what do most people get wrong about being a personal trainer or starting their own business? Something that you've learned along the way?
That's a good question. I think something that you could probably run into as far as being a challenge would be thinking that you know everything, right? Especially in today's world where there's so much information. I think if you're not continually learning and being willing to step out of your comfort zone and just learn new things, right? I mean, there's tried and true ways to get the desired result, which I think are great, but I think you got to constantly be learning. And then definitely from the business perspective too, I think when you initially get into the career, you're very passionate about health, right? You want to help people get in great shape. You want to change their lives. That's why everyone gets into it. So all your focus goes there. How can I be the best personal trainer I can possibly be? And then on the other side of it is the business side, right? The marketing, the outreach, building a brand, all that's on the other side, which there's got to be a balance there. So early on for me, it was definitely, I need to be the best trainer I can be, but kind of putting the business on the back burner. So there's been a big shift, I guess, in the past few years to say, hey, you know what, this business thing is important. If there's no money coming in, then I can't pay the bills, right? So,
I'm assuming based on your, the books you've read and podcasts you listen to, you're familiar with Alex Hormozy.
Yep.
So love Alex. Just listened to him this weekend. He talked about he loved fitness, loved gyms, started opening up gyms, and then all of a sudden realized he didn't have time for the gym and fitness, and he was running a business, and it was a business model, and he made that shift. And sounds like you've made a similar shift. At the same time, you're running a business. You still very much have boots on the ground or basketball shoes on the ground. If you see what I did there. You're running all kinds of you're doing personal training. You are running camps. You are making a significant impact in, for the most part, I think a lot of junior high boys, teen boys, with such a pivotal time in their life, both as becoming men, but also their sports career. Tell us a little bit about the camps you're running, what you're doing with the young men in our community.
Sure. Yeah, I did start out as personal training and then small group. And then, the camps have been kind of the more exciting part, is because we get to see more individuals at one time. So that's kind of been our main focus over these past couple of years, is not only helping from a business perspective, being able to create leverage, but also being able to impact more players at one time. So yeah, just this last summer, we over the past few years, we've been running developmental leagues. So we'll have players come out every spring, and we'll do a 4 or 5 week league where we train a couple days a week and then have a tournament on the last day. So getting better at basketball is one of the main focuses, but I like to think that I'm not so much in the coaching business, but more the personal development business, especially with all of our young athletes that come in. So that's really where my heart's at. I love basketball and everything about it. And getting better at basketball, I think there's a lot of value in that, but sports are really just temporary for a lot of us.
Going back to junior high years at Target Range where you're playing football and baseball, you didn't play basketball in high school, correct?
Nope. Did not play.
Did you ever think this is what your future would look like, or anticipate that you'd be so heavily involved in the game of basketball?
No, not at all. Yeah, no, I played 2 years of basketball at Target Range as a post. As soon as I caught the ball, I would pass it out to the point guard. So I think my career high was probably like 6 points at Target Range. Decided not to play in high school. And then, yeah, when I came back to Missoula, it was just something that I picked up and just said, hey, this is awesome. I can go play by myself anytime I want, whenever there's a hoop. So something that developed more so as just a passion and a love for basketball on the side of doing the personal training. And then it kind of just morphed into just kids saying, hey, like, could you show me this basketball move? So that's kind of how it started. So I gradually started moving away from personal training, strength training, more so into basketball skills.
In terms of the business side of Rising Lions, what's next? What's on your agenda? What do you hope to do and become, and where do you see growth opportunity?
Super excited. So this year, actually, we did our first out-of-state camp with one of our coaches that was coaching with me here in Missoula. He's living over in Washington, and we kind of partnered up. And speaking of Alex Hermosi, just consuming a ton of his content, just started running paid ads over in Washington. So scratching the surface, but we ran our first camp over in Washington. So yeah, it's just ironic that you'd mentioned that, because Hermosi has a really his success was built off of gym launch, which was basically flying out to gyms and turning them around.
Mm-hmm.
So
can we agree to stop telling people about Alex Hermosi? Because like
cheat code. Yeah.
It's so great. And
it's free.
Everybody knows about him now.
Yeah,
he's so good at marketing.
He's so good. And he's so right about everything.
100%. Yeah. No, and that's what I love about him too, is he's got the rule of 100. I mean, you reach out to 100 people a day, or you're spending 100 minutes every single day. So it's been kind of one of those where it's like, where energy flows, attention goes, right? I mean, if you're going to spend time working on your business, then it's going to grow. You're going to spend time working on your body, it's going to grow. I mean, it's all kind of a balancing act, right?
Yeah.
So he's definitely had a lot of influence on me for sure.
So is the overall goal to be running these camps all over the Northwest, or even further? Where's the empire end?
Yep. That's kind of what we're thinking right now. If we're able to do it in Washington and we have coaches there that are able to run camps, then if we can kind of figure out the marketing side and being able to run effective advertising over Facebook, then just partnering with coaches or young trainers or young players that are coming out of college that want to get into the profession, and just saying, hey, if you want to get into like camps or leagues, maybe there's something we can help you out with, partner up, and kind of get your program going. So sort of like the gym launch for basketball in a sense.
Yeah, I like that.
And then, just continue to grow here. We've been super blessed, and every year we're just so thankful for all the families that have come out and all the players that we've been able to touch with basketball and, personal development. So yeah, we definitely like to expand and then just keep growing what we have here. So that's kind of where we're at.
Last question I have for you is, what do you think that Rising Lion camps do better than other camps? Or maybe the better way to phrase this is, what is the impact that you want your camps to have on these kids?
Great question. We want it to be something that really lasts a lifetime, right? We want it to be an incredible experience, and we want it to create memories that really will last a lifetime, right? Whether it's stopping short of the line and coach says, hey, never stop short of the line, go all the way through, or high five your teammates. Because I've learned a lot through sports in my life, and I've very vivid memories of just interactions with coaches and other teammates to where it just still sticks with me today. Right. So that's what we're aiming to do in every single one of our camps and leagues, is to create one of those moments for each one of our athletes, something that will just stick with them as they go through the rest of their life. They can always think back, man, coach always said to finish, coach said, never give up, stuff like that. So we definitely want to create better basketball players, but if we can leave them with something that's going to impact the rest of their lives, we did a good job, and that's what we're going to shoot for. So
on the entrepreneurship side, what is one of the lessons you've learned throughout this journey that you just didn't see coming?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones was kind of like I touched on earlier, just putting more of a focus on your business, right? Because with Costco, we kind of had the safety net of a job to where it's paying the bills, and our dreams, our personal training and everything was off to the side over here. It really wasn't getting very much attention. So lately it's been, well, now I need to be putting more attention to that if I want it to grow. So being disciplined, right? Doing the cold outreach every day when you don't want to. It's just really similar to working out, I think. Like, you don't want to go on a run, but you do it anyway, right? It's the same thing with business, right? You don't want to do the outreach, do it anyway. And then just going above and beyond, creating a service that is exceeding expectations, right? Because I think with marketing, it's super easy to just say, yes, we're going to do all this. It's super nice. This is going to be awesome. But saying that and then creating an experience that goes above and beyond what you say, right, is kind of where we're heading next. We like to do a lot of stuff in our camps to where we measure, your vertical jump, your speed. We're going to give you prizes. We're going to run challenges throughout the camp. So finding ways to get the parents involved with this one that we're doing right now, the Earn It League. We're sending players home with homework, and one of their homework assignments is to take a picture with their family doing one of the workouts, doing the push-ups, doing the lunges. So finding ways to get the whole family involved, and just try and build a community that says, hey, we're here to get better, and we're going to do things even though they're hard. So
yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you for coming on and just being so vulnerable and transparent with your story and just the challenges that you and your wife had to overcome and get through, and just really proud of you and where you are today. I know it hasn't been easy, but it's been a ton of fun to watch from the outside. Great job. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll let you go. Let you get back in the gym.
Thanks, Josh.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
What's up, Missoula? This is Nick Balla, producer of the Missoula podcast. We truly appreciate you hanging out with us as we dive into the stories that make our city special. If you could do us a quick favor and follow the show wherever you are listening, whether that's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, maybe you're watching on YouTube, so hit that little subscribe button. It really helps us out. Head on over to www.themissoulapodcast.com for more information, and we'll see you next week.